All right, let's see. I have to tell you the whole story here. All these, there was a guy I used to see in college that would come and play at the places. The most amazing guy I ever saw who could actually play and sing. And he would talk about his songs for half an hour, tell you what they were about, and then the songs would go on for about 5 minutes, and you never had any earthly idea about what his songs were about. But, that's why he had to spend so much time telling you about it. Anyway, this one, I was taking one of those auditorium classes. The ones that if you pass the AP test, you don't have to take this much of. And I think it was a science physics class, big, huge auditorium. And I was sitting up on row 82. And down on row 78 was this just gorgeous girl, long, flowing blonde hair. I don't think I'd even talked to a girl since, a blonde anyway, since 6th grade. I didn't even know what it was like to talk to a blonde. The ones in my high school just kind of put their nose up in the air and went, and wouldn't even look at you. But this one, she was, and I just looked at the back of her head all day. I didn't pay attention to the physics. I would just stare at the back of her head. And then every day I noticed there'd be a different guy sitting next to her. She'd always be sitting there, and just a different guy would come in and said, and they'd talk, and she'd laugh, and I'd say, okay, somebody beat me to it. And then the next day, another guy would come there, and I'd say, okay, well, that's interesting. She likes a lot of different guys. And I said, well, there's no hope for me then. So, third day, another guy comes in, sits down next to her, and they're just laughing and all that, and I kept, okay. And then it went on like this for weeks. Every day it was a different guy. And I kept wondering, why is it a different guy every day? It just doesn't make sense. And finally, one day, I got there early or something, and she got there sort of early. And I was just looking at the back of her head like usual, waiting to see who was going to sit down next to her, and nobody did that day. So I said, Mr. Cox, I said, and I said, what? This could be your day. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I said, yes, you need to just kind of go down there. Go ahead. I mean, what have you got to lose? And I said, you're right. I think I will do that. So I got my nerve up, picked up my books, walked down the 5 rows or so, kind of sat down and started talking to her. And I found out why it was a different guy every day. And I wrote a song about it. Now the song, I didn't write this song until a couple of years ago. So this is a true story. And I called it, I changed her name a little bit, because I do put these things, we have all these on the internet at different places. I changed her name just a little bit, so we call this the Susan Steiner Blues. She was what they said you should want. The fleets would sail for her. Your jaws would lock, and your knees would knock, and your words you would slur. She's a cross between the greats, Amy Adams at her peak, blonde hair and blue eyes like Lucy in the sky. She was willowy and sleek. And one day, wrong chord, and one day I got my chance. Her voice, ooh, what a sound. I leaned in close, hoping for the most, and then to my horror I found she had bad breath. It caused her sudden death. At first you hoped she wouldn't turn you loose, then you know her breath could kill a moose. She had bad breath. She had really bad breath. How could nature do such a thing? I guess just God can say. A rose has thorns, some angels have horns. He's got his mysterious way. couldn't tell if he knew she had a witch's brew that'd make him wheeze and cry. I bet she has a gorgeous soul, and maybe she can sing. She might speak French or Farsi in a pinch, but there is that other thing. She had bad breath, worse than the Black Death.